So this is the Clothespin Racer. Can you show us how you start it?
Sure. So, as you can see, there's a little wooden dowel right here, which is glued to this axle. And in order to start, you take the black string connected to this pole, which makes the whole thing actually run. You hook it to this side of the axle. You make it go over to this side so that it's like facing toward the smaller side. Then you wind it up a little bit so that it gets caught, and then you put it over here and make it wrap around itself so that it gets caught. So you wind it up. Then what you do is you just put it down, let it go, and it goes.
Very good. So I hook it to the left of this, and I
That's
get it
what
caught.
I did.
I want you to show me so I know how to do it too.
Mhm.
And then it's caught. Now I go to this side, and then am I doing it right?
Maybe.
Seems like it's stuck. Okay, so I keep going.
Keep going to as far as you want, but just make sure this doesn't break. If that breaks, then you're going to go back all the way back to this step and add a new one.
And then just let go.
And it goes.
Perfect. Cool. All right. Now
We built it.
we're going to build one. I'm going to build one, and then you're going to follow along, and you're going to build one.
I myself never actually completed the one which I was making.
Here's your kit. Here's my kit. I'll do mine, and you see how I do it, and you do it, and you can show me where my instructions aren't very clear, and together someone else will be able to follow us. So first we're going to take out our guide.
The guide is the piece of paper which says Clothespin Racer on it.
Yes. We need 3 tools. Let's see. So the tools we have are the glue gun, the scissors, and wire cutters.
Scissors and wire cutters.
Wire cutters are suggested, but if you don't have them, the scissors will suffice. It's just going to be hard to cut this piece later with the scissors without crimping it a little bit. It'll still work though.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to build first, the first step, and you will follow along.
So we just turn over,
No.
or is there a separate piece?
Just follow along as I do it. You'll know what to do because I just did it, okay?
Okie dokie.
So first, I'm going to put this down because we're going to put our jumbo craft stick right on here. So in our bag, we should be able to find 4 jumbo craft sticks. We're going to grab one of them.
1 out of 4 of the gigantic craft sticks.
Yes. And you're going to line it on this photo.
Line it and then you cut it there.
We're not doing any cutting. You just follow along. I'll tell you what we're going to do. You don't have to guess. I know you've done one of these before, and you're going to jump ahead, but I made a couple of changes just to make it work with the wheels we are providing in this kit.
Okay, then this is going to be new for me.
Yes, so just follow along. So you line up this, and you need your pencil
I don't have
right there,
I'll use this one.
if you prefer.
The only reason is because for this you have to sharpen it and for this you don't.
Okay. So when you're lining it up there, see the lines 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5?
Mark it there.
We're going to draw a line as if we're connecting the 2 sides.
We need to move this glue gun. I got burnt 2
Oh.
times with it already.
So that's one thing to worry about. Glue guns are hot. Let's move this out of your way.
Thank you, because I'm trying to get my arm over here. So you mark it as close as you can to it?
Yeah, it's not. This is just to duplicate our car
So you mark out the places marked 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like that. Why do we mark these in these specific spots anyways? Why don't we
This is the duplicate, the car I made. This is going to be a bit of a jig. Here, should I hold it for you? I can't see your finger there.
I think everything might be off by a little bit.
Well, it's close enough.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Now get one more popsicle stick.
And do the same?
Well, we're going to use this one, the one we just did, as our master. Instead of using the drawing now, we're just going to put the popsicle sticks next to each other.
Okay, that's what I'm doing.
So if you made anything that's off by a little bit, just make them off the same way on both of them.
Okay, that way it actually works.
Mm-hmm.
And if you guys don't know what a jig is basically a template which you put your stuff on, and then you either mark it or just put it together in the places where the jig have markings.
That way you don't have to measure things over and over again.
Yes. So this time, they might be off even more
Yeah?
by accident. They
Should
might be.
I hold them for you?
Yes. Yes, please. It's hard to hold them when you don't have big hands.
Mm-hmm.
If
So
you
this-
were Hagrid, I bet this would be as easy as swatting a fly for him.
I don't know. Hagrid probably has trouble doing stuff with small, it's
Yes, you
very
would
delicate
probably
things.
break it. There.
All right, so we have both of those. Now we need a third jumbo.
A third one, which is marked like this.
No, we're not going to mark this one.
Phew, because I'm kind of tired of marking. My arm is getting tired.
And in your bag will also be 2 small popsicle sticks.
You mean a small popsicle stick cut in half.
Right. So there's a big piece and a small
Not
piece.
actually cut in half.
Right. They're not the same. There's a smaller one and a bigger one. You see which one's bigger?
Yes, this one.
The bigger one we're not going to use right away. So let's put that back in the bag.
Gotcha. Use the small one.
Mm-hmm. What we're trying to do is we're going to be gluing those 2 popsicle sticks in just the right way, but I'll show you how to do it.
Okie dokie.
So the first thing is,
Okay.
if you look at my hands, those 2 lines up there,
Are matched
they need to match each other.
like this, so that they're kind of like this. And
And
then
then
you
the
match this right here.
Not just yet. We'll get to this in a second. You're
I
jumping
wish
it.
we had that jig.
Was that?
I wish we had that other jig.
Well, he's describing a jig I made where everything fit in place, but that jig won't make this racer. It makes a different racer. So just follow along as I tell you.
Okay.
So we need this jumbo stick, and we need to stick it in between.
Stick it in between, like you're doing in air.
Right? And you're pinching that popsicle stick so that the top of it lines up with this lines there.
That's precisely what I did.
You got that?
Yes.
And then using the glue gun, here, I'll do the same thing. We're going to put a little dab of glue so that this will stay in place. So we're going to have a little glue right there, a little glue right there. Maybe this should be part of the instructions. We're going to put a little X right there, and so we need some glue there and glue there, and then,
An X or a line.
what's that?
An X or a line.
Or a line. And then we're going to smush this down into the glue. Here, I'll do mine. A little glue
I'm
here.
gonna do precisely the
Can
top.
you see me do it? A little bit there. A little bit there.
There. Ookie dookie.
And then I'm putting this on there. Now, look, it's called hot glue because it's melted.
And because
And
it's very, very hot.
Yes, but it doesn't dry so much as it cools, and it's melted plastic basically. And when it cools, then it's hard. So, you got it? Should I help you hold it?
This is hard. Oh, that worked.
Perfect.
Okay, you get that. Get this.
And push it down, smush it in there.
Smushed. Smushed. Smushed.
You can blow on it. It cools it off. You don't have to blow hard like you're blowing it away. Just blow it to cool it. Yeah.
Like a cool breeze blowing in a summer wind.
I guess. So is yours cooled off?
Yes, but it's still not completely cool. It's hard, but not completely cold.
All right. The next step is we're going to take this middle one, this middle stick.
We just pop it up through there.
Well, we're just going to line it up. Initially, we're just going to mark. We want this end to line up with that line there, approximately.
Okay, I've approximately done that. And then we mark it.
Well, we're going to mark up here, like just across the top.
So, do that.
So you pinch it down. All right. And then we can take this off. And looking at the stick, we can make that line nice and clear. And now, estimate with your eyes the halfway point and make a line like that.
So make it like an upside down T.
Well, you want the wrong direction. You want this to go that way, so towards you, not away from you. You don't have to race it. This is just a guideline, so go towards you.
So go away from you and towards you.
Well, that'll work.
I guess it would actually be a bit better.
And we're going to do on this end too, what we think is halfway.
Okay.
No, the other end. You have everything. There. See how this is a short end? The short end doesn't get all the drawing. Only the long end does it.
That's about the halfway point.
So now we can use that. We're going to put this back underneath our V. It's really hard to see.
It's technically just an A, not a V.
Okay.
Since the cross point's there.
So it's hard to see where the center is when this thing's on top. So these lines help us to line things up. And then we're just going to hold it as best we can. And using your pencil, we're going to... All this really does is tell us where we can put glue. See how I drew much more than that? You put your A back on top of it. So while that's lined up there, try to keep that centered between those two.
You drew it all the way down to here?
Uh-huh. Well, what I'm doing is I'm drawing along these lines. Yeah. Here, should I hold it while you think it's lined up? I'll hold it. Yeah, right there. Very good. The goal here is when we glue this thing together, we want all the wheels to be in a straight line. So we're just trying to keep everything straight.
Or I make the lines bold.
If you like. What we're going to use that for is to know where we can put glue on this.
Yes, but the bolder the lines are, the better.
Okay.
Because you can actually see it.
Right, since you drew several lines, you want to make sure you know which line is the one you want to use. And this isn't like something that's really key that we have to make sure there's no glue that gets out or anything. This is just so that we know where to aim for. There'll be plenty of extra glue.
So you make a Y with something in the middle?
So we're going to put glue all in this area right here. See this? This area is going to all have glue. And then we're going to put this on top and smush it down and let it cool. So I'll do it first, and you're going to watch me do it. You watching?
Glue. I can barely even see your lines. Okay.
Right, so the lines just have to work for you, for the person doing it.
Okay, now I do it.
Watch me do it. Now it's just a matter of letting it cool. So yeah, now you can do it. So as you can see, you're going to get glue. Go ahead. You can do the other side. So glue might squirt out. So doing this on a place where you don't mind getting glue, that's probably enough. You don't mind getting glue onto the surface below it. Get the pencil out of your way.
Thanks.
So try to line it straight. So this line down there is centered. Perfect.
That's as straight as I could get.
And that's good. Each step
I'm a
we get to
slingshot.
each step we get to correct any kind of errors. This whole thing could be like a curve in the very end.
Oh wait, I just happen to have a red. It's Angry Birds.
It's not that strong yet. We have another piece to put on. So from our bag, we need another popsicle stick, the jumbo stick.
What? I like Angry Birds. Mine is still not fully cool.
Well, while it's cooling, can you get your other jumbo stick? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue so that this will stay in place like this. So that means I'm going to put glue here, right?
God.
And then I'm going to stick this in there, and this lines up with the bottom of that.
So you mean it's kind of like creating a popsicle stick bomb?
I guess so, but it won't come apart because we're going to use hot glue to hold everything in place.
I know. It's kind of like it. I said kind of.
Right, so this is go a little further forward so it lines up.
That.
Yeah, you don't want it sticking out there because this is where all the
Gizmos
string and
gadgets.
gizmo stuff has to happen. We don't want to crowd it.
All the gizmos.
It's not going to be critical if it sticks out a little bit because you see we have a lot of extra space. But
You mean all the gizmos and gadgets?
right, all right. So first I'll do,
and the crooks and nannies.
so first I'm going to put my glue
I like
on.
those
So watch me. And then I stick this in, trying to line it up at the end. I have to pick it up so I can try to straighten everything.
Then you let it dry and you've got your tingy-majig.
So with this glue gun might be a little harder. So
with
I
the
can squirt a lot
glue
of.
gun, you put it
No, we're putting it over here. So we're gonna put it down on this surface and then put the big jumbo stick on top of it. Yeah, put it on top of those sticks near the top there.
Do we have any glue?
Up there.
I need a better glue
Do
gun.
you want to use this one?
I'll
It's
try.
heavy.
How heavy is it? What's that?
The thing about glue, with the hot glue gun, is that the bigger globs won't cool so quick. So that's so that you can put it down afterward. You don't actually have to have that in your way.
The reason I use this to keep it up.
Yep.
That good?
Put some down here too. And some of the stuff it won't even be able to reach in there, right? Because it's sunken in there. So put
Okay.
put a bigger goblet there.
Got it.
They're just right here.
I'm just doing that because some of them might have cooled a little bit already.
All right.
So first you line it up down here.
Yep.
Then you put it down
And then you smoosh it in.
here. Smoosh it like you did with the stick.
And you might have to pick it up. So pick up everything and so you can squeeze it between your fingers.
Kind of like squeezing a
So you can-
taco so you can get all the stuff out of it.
I guess. Then you hold it with your fingers there. You can make sure it's lined up, but it looks pretty good, pretty well lined up.
Yeah, this is fine.
So now we just want that to cool.
It's pretty much colder.
Well, it's probably good enough for the next step.
Now I've got a good catapult. Yeah, pretty. Oof, can you seriously move that to a different area? That's the third time I've burned it.
Okay, we're gonna need our guide again. Mr. Angry Birds, let's make progress. We're gonna need our guide again.
Okay.
Take a look. Glue gun.
Glue is very stretchy.
So this is how
You know everything you lined up was lined up right.
right. But what we're gonna do is we're going to draw this line on the other side. So
Why do we need it on the other side?
because this is the side we're gonna put the axle on.
Oh, got it. I'll use this. It's sharp.
Okay.
And it has glue on it still.
Yeah. The strings from hot glue guns.
Boy, it's very stringy. That's about where I think it was.
Mm-hmm. No, not all of it. Just that one line there, and same on that side. So move the whole thing. Very good. So you should have something that looks like this, with 2 lines on it, right? All right.
Mine is actually farther than I got before.
Now go back to your parts, and we're going to need a long straw like this.
One of those long brown straws.
And we're going to need a metal axle.
One of those metal axles, you find them there.
I called that string. I called that the power string. So we want to put the axle inside the straw like this.
So you put it inside the straw like it is going to be at the end, except it's going to be without the wheels. Without the wheels.
Using your pencil, let's make a little X. That helped us last time. We're going to make a cross thing here and a
You
cross
need a
thing.
line. You just need
But
a
I'm calling it X because we're crossing the other line, and we're going to put a little glue right in the center of that.
Wait, approximately in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay, that's approximately in the middle.
Right.
And that's approximately in the middle.
So watch me. I'm going to put a little glue. A little glue here.
Little
A little glue
there.
there.
And a little glue there.
And with the axle in here, so you don't bend the straw, I'm putting this on that horizontal line, and I'm going to try to center it, just the straw part, not the metal part, so that it sticks out the same amount each side, like a hammerhead.
Yeah, like a hammerhead shark.
And we want this.
Sharky.
We
You
want
want
this.
it able to slide, unlike the other one when she made a failure of.
Right, I do have a failure somewhere, where if you get this without the axle, where you put too much hot glue on there, it's possible to get this thing to bend like a smile or something, and then this won't move very freely in there. If that happens, you can kind of scrape it off and try again. All right, so I'm gonna let this cool, and now you can do the same thing. Do you want to use this? So you don't need a lot of glue, or do you want to use the glue?
This.
All right, right there. A little bit more maybe. Perfect. And try to, yeah, it looks pretty centered. So,
Don't smile yet.
does it feel like it's still loose in there? So we can just let it cool.
It's fine. Let it cool with that.
Once this cools, like I think that's not a lot of glue, and there's going to be a lot of stress on this, but it holds it in place for the next step, which is we're going to put more glue on here, but we'll let it cool first, and then it won't move.
Go yet.
If you want to know whether it's cooled enough, you can touch it with your fingers.
You can just touch it.
See, that's going to be springy. You see how that's definitely not cooled enough. Well, mine,
Now it's cool enough.
well, it's just starting to get cool enough that it's not stuck to your fingers. But mine's even cooler because I did mine first. But better still is we can just say 5 minutes later, and it's all a little harder,
Okay.
right?
5 minutes later.
Very good. Okay, I'm going to add more glue to mine. It's been 5 minutes. And I'm just going to make a little bridge of glue over this thing to hold it in place, kind of thing.
Okay, kind of like using Legos to enclose a very delicate Lego piece within
And
stronger
ultimately,
Lego
we just want it
pieces.
to be stronger and this not to move around. Can I do it to yours since I'm using the big glue gun and get a lot of glue? Or do you want to do it?
I want to do it because I want to actually have experience with doing all of it.
All right, so let's
I'll
get
use
this thing
most
out,
of it.
out of the way. This thing is just so putting the glue gun down.
There. It's hard to use.
It's a big glue gun. Put a little more.
I'm going to try to put more.
Don't make too many sound effects. Everyone has to listen to them later over and over again as they watched. One of the things about these instructions is if we went too fast, you can pause them and go back and see it again. Very good. Let me take this out of your way.
It's like a bridge. Under a bridge. The good thing about glue is that when you use it and it gets stuck to your finger, it's removable.
This is still moving nice and smoothly.
No smiley face on that, which is good.
All right. So
And now it can actually be a little flicker.
we're not going to move it around too much. You can see it's very translucent. It's very still hot. So we'll just leave it. You can blow on it. That'll work. The next step. How about we get the next step going while this is cooling? In our box,
While the glue is cooling.
we need the other long straw. We need the other.
Not the extremely short straw. There's a difference. This
Right.
is the extremely short one. This is the long one.
We need the axle, the middle axle.
The other metal axle.
We need 2 wheels. We need to put the middle axle through the straw.
And put the wheels on it.
Yes.
For
Now,
both of them.
there's like a nail, both wheels. So it's like a nail. You don't want to push it with your fingers. So I'm going to put one on the table. and I'm
Put
gonna
one
use-
on the table and then use the other wheel to push it in.
Yes. And the goal is that this is still loose in the middle.
Yes.
You don't want to push the wheels too close, or else it'll rub and get stuck. But you can push it pretty far, and that won't happen.
I think I pushed it as far as the wheels can go.
See mine? Let's see.
Yours is too thick.
It's very close. Look at that. Perfect.
Mine is a little bit longer.
And while this is probably cooled quite a bit, find in your bag there'll be another popsicle. Stick the
No,
roll away.
caught it.
Don't bend it too much.
the other half of your popsicle stick.
And that one should happen to fit right in between here
Okay.
and have enough room.
Oh, and by the way, when you're done with this, you're going to snip the middle part off.
It's true. So
I
while this
remember
is
that You
cooling,
didn't. I remember that you didn't. No.
well, this is you're teaching everybody else how to do this. So I'm going to put some glue, hot glue, along the whole middle here, and then I'm going to line this up. The most important part about this is not to let glue get on the tires. Just so you don't have to get all the way to the end. There's not any stress on this part. So I'm just going to put glue, say, from here to there, not all the way to the ends. Let me do mine first before you do yours.
Let me just mark it from
That's a good idea.
here to here.
All right, and you don't need a lot of glue. This is, so watch, I'm going to do mine. You watching?
I'm just making a little line representing that's that
Very good.
far.
So,
I like to make things very descriptive. That way you can understand.
see? And then my
Take out the
axle.
marks and put it on your axle and
Kind of just hold it in place.
why his thing is
And see how this is spinning? That means I succeeded by not getting glue in the wrong places. The idea is this is supposed to be able to move freely. And
while his thing is cooling. But
all right, it's your turn. You can use that glue gun.
yeah, where's my marked side? What do I
You
wanna
don't have to,
do?
if you miss a little spot on it, it won't matter.
The best way to do this is to push it in while you're doing it.
That depends on the quality of your glue gun. Okay, that's enough. Now let's put this on there. Because one of the things about glue is it'll cool.
It'll cool very
And then once it cools, then we need a different popsicle stick.
It's almost cooled. But it still works.
So can you squeeze the thing to the popsicle stick like a sandwich?
Like so.
Don't crush it. Just try to mush it into this along the whole way. Now does it still spin? Yeah, it looks like it. You can see it hanging down below. All right, so now let's let that cool.
While my thing is cooling.
And you reminded me of an important part.
Snipping out this part.
So we're taking the axle out. To take your axle
Take
out.
that axle out.
First, let me do it with the scissors.
Things.
As you see, scissors are offset. There's two blades, so they're not on top of each other exactly like a, I don't know what that would be.
Like one of those.
Like wire cutters. They line up directly right above each other. But here,
I'm gonna use the wire cutters.
now we're not doing this with wire cutters. We're going to use scissors for this.
Why?
So this, one's to the left, one's to the right. This bottom one is to the left, and the top one's to the right. What that allows me to do, be careful, the scissors are sharp, is I want to cut it right next to that, and I can do it.
With the wire cutters, it's a lot easier.
Well, the wire cutters can crush this.
Oh.
Or so can this, apparently.
Maybe we need those extremely sharp cutters. Yay!
And to see if I did a good job, I'm going to put this through. And as long as it can turn freely, then it means that's good enough. So don't cut towards your hands like that.
Use your hands like right here.
The first one, if you do it this side, this is the first one.
Do it
So Actually, maybe kid scissors would be better. These are way too big for you. Okay. So see how that one will be, you won't be able to get it close that way. So I'm gonna flip it over. That works. It sticks out a little bit, but that won't matter. I don't think trying to fix it's going to be a good idea. No, don't cut that off. We want them to stick out this end. That turns out to line up as the same distance as the other straw, so it pulls the wheels apart. So you don't want to cut off the ends on the ends.
Got it. Where's my axle? Back.
We need to put wheels on the end of the axle.
Wheels on the end of the axle.
But this time, like you said, through. And we're going to put this on here and push down on it.
And reminder, on these we will actually put rubber bands on there by gluing rubber bands.
Well, we haven't gotten to that yet.
I know,
we'll
but
try.
we will. I'm just saying that we will.
So, ideally, you'd have a rubber floor or something, and this won't slip, but this will slip on our floor. So we have rubber bands that we're going to put on, like we did with this racer.
For traction.
For traction. And there are 2 rubber bands included in the kit.
Too bad the wheels don't move like freely.
It doesn't move freely?
No, I mean like so that wheels could turn the opposite directions.
Oh no, you don't want it to. Because we're going to have...
so that it could turn.
Our motor will spin this, and if it would move freely, then the power would not get to the tires. You wouldn't be able to push it forward or backward.
What if there were 2 strings?
2 what?
2 strings.
Well, you see what I mean, though? In order to push off on the floor, this turning here has to push the tire, and if it was loose in there, it wouldn't work. Okay, now the next step is we're going to glue the front axle on. Get both parts. And how does it look? Does it look pretty good?
Yeah.
Everything's loose on there? So our goal is to line this up so that this tire is in front of that tire and that tire is in front of that.
Bite it.
And one way to do that is we're going to put this down over here temporarily. And do the same thing with yours at the same time.
Sure.
See how I'm holding it from underneath?
And we want it like this, so that when you spin
And grab it from that
goes
side.
the other way.
We're just holding it so we can line things up. So we can line this tire up with this one. Can you hold it from the top there?
That's good.
We're going to need whichever hand you want to use to write with. And you can see there's a little window onto that stick underneath. We're going to fill in those little squares so it's going to touch both sides here.
There, did.
So yours, when you're done, yeah. So now,
And then after that, I'm just
No, no.
going to make it all the way.
no, don't.
What?
Basically, it already has everything you need. So you can see how
How it lines up
see
in
the
the center.
you see the two inside edges here. That corresponds with that edge and that edge, or the same would be up there. So right in there is nice and centered.
So like this,
Yeah,
and we just lean it against it temporarily.
right.
It works. It works.
So
I am my 64-bit racer.
well, that's not glued on yet. Next,
I'm going to decorate.
we're gonna put
this.
glue in this spot right here. You can decorate this with pencil or whatever paint it. And right in here, we're going to put a little glob of glue. But don't do it yet. Watch what I'm doing first.
Globby, globby.
All right?
So you want to put an X approximately in the middle?
Well, we already have a window to put it in there, right? So
You
anywhere.
already put an X there.
Did I put an X? Maybe because I touched it with a pencil. But we're going to put, and then we're going to mush it in there.
That looks approximately
But
in the middle.
it's still possible for this to be put on like that, right? And that makes the racer always goes in a circle. So we're going to use,
If it did go in a circle, that would actually be pretty nice.
we're going to use a straight edge, the side of our template.
Mary, what if that thing actually turned?
What do you mean turned?
I mean, like, while I was driving, it turned like this and this.
Like a remote control car?
Yeah.
It wouldn't go as straight. We don't have remote control abilities on this car at the moment.
I know, but we
Our-
could add it.
Our next iteration, we'll figure out how to do that.
Next time.
So in order to keep things straight,
Like balancing a tip of a pencil on your finger. It's hard. Very hard.
if you want to balance a pencil, watch what he does. But if you want to build this, watch what I do. So we're going to use this straight edge to line up the tires so that everything,
What straight edge?
the edge of our template here.
Oh.
See what I'm doing?
You're
And,
using that? Got it.
and the other thing I'm doing is when building this whole thing, everything can get warped. I've had one where this whole thing was twisted. And when I first glued it on, I put it on like this, and only one tire on the front was touching because the whole thing was twisted. Turns out the solution is put some glue on there, a big glob of it. Make sure all four wheels are touching the surface. And then you smush it in place. And because they're all touching, when it cools, there's no twist. So even though my beam would be twisted, the glue will just make up the difference. All right, so let me put some glue on there.
A globby glob of glue.
And then
A glibby glob of glue. 4 wheels are touching. Or at least it looks like it. That looks nice.
this isn't under.
What do you want to name your racer?
I don't know.
I named mine the 64-bit.
64-bit. You want to try yours now?
Sure.
So you
A
need the straight
giant
edge.
glob of glue.
Well, before that, let's line it up with the straight edge.
Line straight. Line straight.
And plus you want to do everything on the surface. So, right, this wheel will be lower, so, yeah. And I found putting my hand on here would keep it from flipping over. So my right hand would hold it up. Just right around here. And using my left hand, I could squirt some glue. See how yours has a little bit of a twist to it? But that won't matter because the glue, the glob of glue, here. Slide this away and I'll put the glob of glue on there and then you can mush it in. Ready?
Good.
Does it seem like it's centered? Use that.
That seems fine.
Don't twist it unless you think it's not straight, right? And then we have to let it cool.
While it cools.
Right. So while it's cooling, the next step is to work on the engine. So go to your parts.
Go to your parts. And get out
We
the
need-
clothespin. The actual clothespin in the Clothespin Racer.
Yes, and you also want.
Clothespin
We're
Racer.
going to need this piece too
Yes.
in your bag,
Right. Oh, both of them.
and we're going to need the short,
Both of them.
and we're going to need this
I think mine is
the bamboo stick.
glued.
Well, don't worry about that. We're going to let that cool while we work on
Actually,
the
it
engine.
might still be a little bit
So,
twisted.
so is it twisted?
Because of the way I put it on underneath.
All four wheels are touching, so it's not twisted.
No, I meant For the actual thing, it's twisted. A little bit.
You're saying that if I put this up like this, there's a little bit of a twist to yours. I think it's this end that's twisted.
It's not this end.
In any case, it'll still work. It just won't go straight. It'll go in a curve.
Which could be fun.
Mm-hmm. Hot glue also could be heated up with a hair dryer, and you can try to realign stuff.
Or a heat gun.
Yeah, heat guns are.
Which we
A little
have
rougher 'cause
both a heat gun and a hair dryer. I got the Racer 64-bit.
So we need more parts from your bag. We need the short little straw, and we need the bamboo stick.
We need to cut off some of this for
Not,
this.
not yet. We will have, we'll have plenty of time to do that.
Good.
So put the straw on your stick. So if it gets crushed a little bit, it doesn't slide on as well. That's one of the differences between using
I crushed it a bit so that it stays on.
okay. I can't even get mine on.
I already got mine. Right here. I got a lightsaber. Hiya, hiya.
So
Go, Blastoise!
mine didn't slide all the way on, so I'm going to use the wire cutters and chop it off.
Choppy, choppy, boppy.
And some of the wire, some of the stick still isn't at the bottom there, so I'm going to cut even more.
Snip. Snip. Snip.
The purpose of this is just to add a little extra width to it. And we're going to put that in this.
Mine might be a tilted a little bit when I go.
Let me see.
Mine's
Yours is good.
tilted
That's
up.
perfect. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be flat at the bottom. Now we're going to stick that on this. What did I call this? This was the
spring?
clothespin spring. So we're going to stick this through the spring.
I can't get my straw through. Actually, a good idea would be to put the straw through first and
No.
then put it in.
I found that the opposite was true. That put the straw on the stick.
Mm. There it is. Why do you even need the straw?
It's interesting how yours slides so nicely and mine, and I can't get it on there.
Actually, it's kind of hard to slide it.
And now I'm going to push mine down. In order to loosen the straw, I can push this spring apart a little bit, but
There, did that. Do it from the other side.
it should be symmetrical.
Do you want it all the way out or just like
All the way to the bottom.
You like this?
Yeah, I should have you do mine. No, you want it to be flat. So push the spring down so it's flat to the surface. Perfect.
Like that.
Like that.
Yay! Now I got a springy lightsaber. I got a little button. Button. Push, push, push.
You know,
Oh, no.
when you go up high like that, you're not going to show it on camera. You want to be on the surface of the table.
Pushy, pushy, pushy.
So did you bend this
Huh?
to get it on there?
Yes.
Okay, now we can bend it back.
It's hard to do that.
That's good enough. So now, the way this is going to work is this is going to get glued,
Onto there.
right? So this top part was always going to be loose.
Oh, if it was always going to be loose, then never mind. What I did was going to just actually help me get it on there.
Right, which I'm having trouble with mine. I have to bend mine apart.
I don't know why I'm better than his when he's done this before.
I actually broke my skewer.
Last time?
No, just now.
What?
Yeah.
You need a new skewer. Why could we have a box now?
See how loose this is? That's why I had a straw.
straw's right over here.
Right, but I'm not going to get that piece off. I'm going to use another straw.
Okay. Okie dokie. And what were the actual orange things for?
That's for a new project.
Oh, okay. You can tell me that at the end. At the end.
Again, another straw that doesn't fit on my skewer, but fits on yours.
Try putting it on the other end.
There, I got it. I'm going to put this in here.
Maybe you're just a bit too Wreck-It Ralph style.
I got it.
Yes, you did. But not as fast as I got mine.
Now, I'm bending this back a little bit. No, it's a spring, it just bounced back anyway. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put a glob of glue on here. You can do the same. We're going to mush this in there, and we're going to use our eye to make everything stand straight up. Because it's possible to glue it on an angle, and we want it to make it nice and straight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And we're going to do it towards the cut-off piece, right?
Got it.
So I'm going to do it first.
Oh, the reason you do that is because you want that to bend so that it gives it a little bit of extra spring, right?
Right, so this springs this way.
But you don't want it to snap. When
Oh.
you hear snapping sound, and that's not good.
Well, something might break if you do that, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put just glue on the bottom. I'm going to smush this in, and I'm going to let it cool. Let's see how that goes.
I got the Racer 64. The Racer 64, 444 for Racer 64.
have to come up with a name for mine. What's mine gonna be called?
4.
Racer's 32.
No! Mine's the 64-bit.
Right, so
The 64.
this is going straight up and down, right?
Got it.
I'm just going to let it cool.
Actually, that's twisted a little bit.
Close enough.
The less twisted, the better. But I guess it's close enough.
I need you to do the same on yours.
Okay, let me get this. Let me get this. I'm gonna try to put this on camera.
Perfect.
That works.
Mm-hmm.
I did that. And wait, what I'm just gonna do is do that and then smush it like this.
Well, keep it in the center. Right there. Perfect. And look on it straight on. So look on it straight on like this towards you. So that this is straight up and down, so maybe you have to twist it. Hold it straight up and down. Got it?
Still not reliable.
No,
on
just
there.
hold it so it's straight. It'll cool in the straight position.
Then we'll add some more glue.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah, this is going to hold it in place.
Yes.
And once it's cooled enough, if you put more glue on now, it just makes everything soft. So I'm waiting for it to cool.
Okay.
Mine's probably cooled enough. I'm going to put some more glue on mine.
While I'm waiting for mine, I'll just play with my rubber ducky. What? Nothing's more perfect on a rubber ducky.
Okay.
Especially a Dalmatian rubber ducky.
So I added more glue on mine. Do you want to add more glue to yours? Unfortunately, rubber duckies are not included in the kits.
Yeah. I got 2 for my birthday since I am 8 years and 2 days old.
So, yeah, and you want on top of that metal. You don't actually have to
Trying to get
support
on
it this
top
way.
of it.
Try to get it on top of that back piece.
Yes, but if you support it that way, it gives it more support.
Yeah, but you also want that spring to be able to move, so you don't add any more towards the spring part. It'll still work, but.
That good?
Mm-hmm. And then let's get this out of your way. So all that little stringy pieces, we'll be able to trim those off with scissors or pull the way you're doing. We just don't want the clothespin to get glued shut. Looks like you're not. I think you're making fishing line. That is how they make fishing line. Not by hand, but it's kind of drawn out like that from melted plastic.
Now I just have a bunch of fishing
This is or like
line.
nylon, like if you wanted to weave this.
I have
Instead,
nylon.
we can just let it cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Finally! Finally!
Yeah.
That was so hard.
Now hold it, put it down, and see that it's all still straight. Yeah, it's pretty good.
That looks as straight as you get it for right now. Huh? Whee! I can launch myself.
All right. So the next step is I'm going to glue this so that it lines up with the top of this big jumbo stick.
Ookie dookie, and that is mine, I think.
Well, it probably is. Let's try mine.
Oh no, this is yours.
Okay.
I can tell the difference because for mine I filled these in, and for yours you didn't. Keep it that way. That way we can tell who each other's is.
You can write 64 on yours.
I am going to write.
So in order to know where to put the glue, I'm gonna put glue on this piece, right? And then I'm gonna put it, mush it down on there. And I'm gonna do my best to put it straight. Let me do mine first. You can watch me.
I'm going to. Then you suddenly smush it. A sudden smush.
And I'm gonna try to keep everything straight up and down. If it's not centered, I'm gonna slide it over a little bit. Everything's twisted a little bit, but it's fine. So your turn. You want to do yours? So how is it going to be attached? It's going to be attached like that. Yeah. That's plenty of glue. All right. Nicely done. You're running low on glue sticks. I'm going to get you another small glue stick.
Thank you. That's because I'm extra efficient.
Also, small glue sticks will get used up quicker than the big glue sticks.
Yours is almost ran out too.
So the glue stick, I'm just going to put it in here. Yeah, you still have plenty in there. So once it goes further in, you can slide that in there.
Once it gets past the white thing in there, as you can see, there's a little white thing right here. Once the glue stick gets past the white line, then you want to put another one in there. That'll push it in, resulting in it to come out here. Then you get a new one. It'll go in, push the old one out through here, and then it'll keep going, and then you keep adding glue sticks until eventually you run out of money and you can't get any more glue sticks.
And then you're on the street begging for glue sticks.
Not on the street, on the front of your house.
Okay.
You still have a house with you. You just can't pay fees.
We'll try not to get that far. So yours is still cooling. Mine is cooled enough. I'm going to let yours cool longer. For mine, I'm going to start bending it. So we have a spring here.
Hey, that's the one I colored green on.
It is. We're going to have a string tied to here somewhere. We just don't know where yet. And that string is going to attach temporarily to this axle here. So I'm bending this down.
Aren't you forgetting about something?
I'm not forgetting anything yet.
You are.
I'm not forgetting.
About the wood axle.
I didn't forget it. I just hadn't put it there yet.
Okay.
So watch. I'm going to bend this down. And when it's fully tight, you can see where that axle crosses the stick. And I'm just going to put a mark. Right?
Mm-hmm. And you want to cut it a little bit above that mark?
I'm not cutting it. I'm just putting that there. And now in our bag, we're going to find our string. our power string. So in your bag, find the power string.
You call it the power string, but on the instructions it calls it the clothespin string.
No, there's clothespin spring and power string. What fell? Oh, your rubber ducky.
Oh. Wheels
Rubber ducky not included.
No.
So now we're going to make
Rubber ducky
a slip
not
knot.
included.
We're going to make a slip knot on this. Oh, this is still hardening.
The rubber ducky guy. Now it's gonna run with a rubber ducky.
I think maybe mine should have that. You already have a name. Mine doesn't have a name yet. Maybe mine's the Dalmatian duck. All right, so we need to use our string. We're gonna make
Oh yeah, yours is the Dalmatian duck.
We're gonna make a slip knot.
Name yours the Dalmatian duck.
We're gonna make a slip knot. A slip knot means you twist a little bit and you put a loop through.
Put a loop through and then you do it through that loop.
Watch me. Watch the string, not me. Oh, I'll try again. Make a little twist and push the loop through and try to not lose it. And make it.
And you got a slip knot.
All right.
A slip tie.
String should be long enough
Mine is
so that
hardened. Mine is pretty
it'll reach.
Mine is pretty much hardened, actually.
I have to take the Dalmatian off
The Dalmatian duck.
because I'm going to put this slip knot over the stick, find that mark I made, and tighten it on that mark.
And then you glue it to there.
This keeps it from slipping, so I'm going to use a little glue right there. All right?
I can do it on mine now.
Yeah.
Now I shall do mine, the 64-bit. So you do it like this. You make a little loop.
Uh-huh.
You slip it in here.
Yes.
You do this.
And try not to let the tail get too long because we want enough string to go from the stick down to our axle. So you can start again if it doesn't seem to line up. See how the two sides are both pretty long? So let's try again. The beauty of a slip knot is you don't have to try to untie it. You just go, pull both sides, go, boop, and it disappears.
What? It's a black hole. It's a black hole on a string.
Yeah, so try again. With a little practice, you'll be able to get the knot closer to the end.
You do it like this
Uh-huh.
and like this
Uh-huh.
and like...
Well, if you pull the other end, by pulling that end, you're making that tail very long. Let's try again. You don't want that tail to get
pulling
long.
this end.
Yeah, we don't want that tail to get long. We
Oh,
want
you
that to
pull
be
the
short.
other end?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to do because pulling the other end unties it. I won't keep it. I'm pinching this thing together, right? So the tail is short. I'm pushing it in, and then I'm trying to grab it with this, and I can grab both pieces.
Then you pull.
Well, again, I'm getting the tail too long too.
It's hard.
Uh-huh.
Very
You can kind
hard. Very.
of, well, let's see if that's long enough.
It's about long enough. Wait, I haven't done the measuring yet.
No, you haven't.
Let's measure it.
Oop.
The 64-bit is hard to conquer.
I'll hold it while you mark it. That's good. So do you want to tie the knot, or is this good? Let's see whether it would reach. The string's plenty long.
Okay. And then you pull it.
Tighten it right on the mark.
Then you take glue
Mm-hmm.
and you put on. I want to
Perfect.
put it a little bit higher than that, so
That's good.
that way it goes down.
All right. Now you were telling me that I forgot about a little piece on there, and I didn't
You
forget.
forgot about the one axle.
Now that we've glued this string on here, we know how much of this stick is extra. So I'm going to use the wire cutters and cut off above it.
Yay!
I probably shouldn't have done it without holding it, because that could go flying in our eyes. And we need a little piece. I'm going to cut off a little piece. I'm going to do it inside my hand so it doesn't fly away.
The risk about that is that you could cut yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Have your parent do that part for you, so they cut themselves. All right, so we want a little piece like that.
That way you have future generations.
Here, how about I cut them both for us?
Yeah.
And we each have a piece.
Good. My piece is this.
And I'm using the glue gun. We're just
Using the
going to
glue gun.
put a little bit of...
Put a little dab of glue,
Right.
close as you can
Here, watch me
to
do it
the
first.
other end without actually getting it to touch it. And then you put the stick on that glob of glue and wait for it to dry.
Or harden from cooling, yeah. I'm trying to keep it straight.
So I'm gonna put it right here. Is this good?
Yeah. Don't burn yourself.
I just burnt myself, but it actually was just a tiny contact with the glue.
Now, since I cut mine, I didn't cut yours.
Oh, I got more fishing string.
Let me cut this off with the wire cutters.
I got more fishing string.
If you just let it cool, you won't have to worry about that. That's just going to never end.
Not true, actually.
No. Mine's cooled enough. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the
you're
other
forgetting
side.
about the rubber band.
I'm not forgetting yet. That's the next step. But first, I'm going to put a little glue on the back here.
A little glue on top of it or on the back?
On the back. It's going to kind
So you put
of... Is
a
yours
little
cooled
glue-
enough for yours?
Yes, it's cooled enough.
Okay.
Like this?
Yeah. Try not to get all the stringy stuff. That's the stringy stuff on here. We don't want it to get in the way of the tires and all that. And the string will be wrapped around whatever goop you get on the axle. Try blowing on it. Cool it off.
It broke. And it broke again.
I think you should just let it cool and leave it alone until it cools.
It's cold.
All right, so now I'm going to take my string just to see that I did a good job. And do the very thing that we did at the very beginning and wrap it.
Do the same thing. Except we forgot the rubber bands.
No, I didn't forget. I'm just seeing that this works.
We didn't put the rubber bands on.
Not yet. Watch.
That works.
It does, except the string might be too long. It pulled off and then tries to wrap again. You may want to trim the string, but I'll let you tune that later. Rubber bands. Next step.
I'm going to see if mine works. And ready, set, go.
Mm-hmm.
Mine works fine.
All right.
Even though the problem was I had my hand around it.
Mm-hmm. So the
But it works.
the rubber bands are too long. So one solution
Cutting
is,
it.
well, you can just double them on themselves. But the tires are narrow and they're going to slide off the side. So instead,
We cut it.
we're going to glue with hot glue the rubber band. Don't cut it yet. It's easier to apply the rubber band on while it's a loop. So I'm going to put a little dab of glue. I'm going to smush the rubber band into it. This is the hardest part for a child. You're not going to have to try to get it around the whole tire all at once like that. Instead, just put a little glue there, and then I'm just going to touch it like that, so that one part of the rubber band's in the right spot.
Okay.
See how I'm holding it like this? Right? I'm not going to push it in. You want me to do mine first? Okay, do yours first. You don't want the glue on the outside of the rubber band. Yeah, that works. move the glue out of the way. Perfect. So that little bit of glue, I'm going to smush it out of the way with my finger. So let it cool. And let me do mine too. I'm going to do a little glue. Want to watch mine? Do a little,
Oops.
I do a little glue,
A little lot of glue, I got it.
and then I'm just going to stretch across it like that. It's nice and straight.
And you smush it.
Right.
Smush the X.
Well, I could. Sticks up a little bit. I can smush it out of the way. But that holds it in place.
It's raining.
It is raining.
I just noticed that.
So watch. Now that that's in place, I can now do the next spot. I can put a little glue here. Smush across it.
Smaller the glue, the less time you have.
It's true. But also it doesn't squirt out.
Yes. When you get to that part, cut it.
Yeah, now we're at a point where we can cut it. And I'm going to cut it near the glue.
Near, but not exactly at the glue. And then you measure it and you cut it at that point.
Oh, now I'm going to peel this back a little bit. Hold it out of the way. Put a little glue there.
There.
And then smush it in.
And then you put it there, figure out how far you need and cut it.
If it's too long, you just cut it a little shorter.
Either that or you can just glue it on top of it.
Well, you could, but I think it's smoother if it's not.
Yes, it is. Yours is practically perfect in almost every way. A rubber ducky
The
is
Mary Poppins tire.
a rubber ducky is practically perfect in every way.
All right. I did one. Do you want to do yours?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Accidentally got a bit of flat tire, but I can fix that. Now I can snip it. Good. Practically perfect in every way. A rubber ducky. There should be a Family Feud question, which, what is practically perfect in every way? And there would be a top 2 answers. Number 1, Mary Poppins. Number 2, a rubber ducky.
I don't know how many people would know that was the answer, number 2. I guess everyone knows Mary Poppins, and so 98% say Mary Poppins and 2%
But
say...
Mary Poppins would be like... Mary Poppins literally just be worth 5 points.
Alright, so I'm going to write in
Can you do my other wheel?
Dalmatian duck, sure.
I'm actually going to decorate mine instead of just writing the name.
Alright, you want me to do your other wheel? You want me to finish this wheel too?
I want to finish my wheel.
Okay, I'll move that out of your way. Remember, it's easier to clean up all those little hanging strings after it cools. If you do it now, it just stretches more of them. Where's your other rubber band? It's in the bag still. And do you hear the tire?
You do it.
Right.
I want to rest.
Yeah. This is the hardest part. I looked for the right size rubber bands and they don't sell them. They're only twice as big.
Maybe even more than twice as big if they're stretchy enough.
Yeah.
And if they're thin enough, it makes them stretched out and 3 times as big. Or 4 times. It's hard. Very, 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 very hard. Tell me when mine is ready. Because when it's ready, I'm going to write 64-bit. I think the Dalmatian duck is a nice name for yours, though. 64-bit is always in 8th place.
8th place, huh? Not first out of 8?
No, I mean like 8th place in a 64-bit game. In a game named 64-bit. In the 64-bit game, you have to be in 8th place to win. In the 64-bit car, it's always in 8th place no matter if a car actually gets in 8th place. Suddenly it glitches and that car gets in 8th place. So you always want to be the 64-bit.
Alright, I think you can decorate your car.
Yeah, it looks good. Now I shall decorate the 64-bit.
And check our bag, we have no more parts.
You don't have to decorate it.
Let's line up all our cars next to each other.
I want to decorate mine.
I'm going to put a Dalmatian duck on the top of mine. Got caught on there. I cut mine too short. Now it's hard to grab with my fingers. Caught on there. Oh, it's just a string. I can put another string on there. Oh, it works. There he goes. Dalmatian duck drove away. I'm going to unplug our hot glue guns.
Never, ever forget to unplug the hot glue gun. Now, did you unplug both?
Yes.
Good. How does the 64-bit look?
Cool. I hope you follow our instructions. Our camera work could be improved, I'm sure.
Yes, it could.
But feel free to ask us.
And the hard part is the editing. Bye-bye, and you don't have to decorate.